Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa sallallahu ala Muhammadin wa alihi tahirin. Dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Alhamdulillah, we are at the auspicious occasion of birth anniversary of Imam al-Asr, Imam al-Mahdi, Ajalallah ta'ala farajahu sharif. I would like to speak a little bit about one of the aspects of the time of reappearance of Imam, the time that man will see the greatest days of his history on the earth. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Al-Kahf, verse 51, refers to a very important point and says, وَمَا كُنْتُ مُتَّخِذَ الْمُذَلِّينَ عَضُدًا. Allah says, I never take misled and deviant people as helpers and assistants. So, this is a very important point. When we generally look at the life, we see that sometimes those people who are not that much good or sometimes evildoers, they happen to serve good people, they happen to serve the cause of Allah and their religion. As the hadith of the Prophet said, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُؤَيِّدُ هَذَا الدِّينَ بِالرَّجُلِ الْفَاجِرِ. Sometimes Allah may support and help this religion by an evildoer, by an oppressor, by a mischievous person. So this is how the life is mixed with good and bad in this life. But at the its ultimate level of perfection, Allah says, I never take deviance as assistance. This is something that we see will happen at the time of Imam, and Imam, who is the real representative of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, will establish such a thing, and this is very important for us if we want to have a relation with them. Among those people who are Muslims and followers of Islam, in the history we see that only it is Abu Abdullah al-Husayn alayhi salam who applied this verse of Quran. Rasulullah, he didn't have such a duty. We see that the Prophet, while he was in Mecca and while he was in Medina, they were people among Sahaba who were very nice, who were very good, and sometimes they were people that Quran calls them munafiqin, hypocrites. They were also among the Muslims, and these hypocrites also, they used to participate in the battlefields, they used to participate in different fields, and they used to also participate in salat, and sometimes to support the religion, to fight for the religion, to support the Prophet. So they used to support the religion. So at the time of the Prophet, sometimes these evil people who were hidden among the Muslims and they were not known, and Allah says, we know them who are the hypocrites. So they were among the Muslims and among the Sahaba, and they used to hide themselves, and naturally they used to support Islam. At the time of Imam Amirul Mu'mineen and the other Imams, good and bad were together. Imam Hussein alayhi salam in Karbala, this is one of the unique issues in Karbala, that Imam said, وَمَا كُنْتُ مُتَّخِذَ الْمُذِلِّينَ عَضُدًا. Imam, as the vicegerent of Allah on the earth, applied this verse when he met Ubaydullah bin Hurr al-Ju'fi. He was a person who heard that Imam Hussein alayhi salam is invited to Kufa, so he was going. He left Kufa, he went outside not to meet Imam when Imam comes. While Imam alayhi salam was going towards Kufa, on his way they reached to some camps, some tents. Imam asked to whom these tents belong. They said to Ubaydullah al-Hurr al-Ju'fi. Imam sent someone after him, but he didn't come because he didn't want to meet Imam. When he didn't come, Imam went to meet him in person. Personally, Imam went to guide this person as well, to give him a chance to come. And Imam said, we are going to Kufa, if you come and help us. He said, I left Kufa because I didn't want to be for you or against you. I am neutral. And he said, but I can give you, I have a good horse, it's a very perfect one, and I have a sword. So I can support you financially with things that I have. Imam alayhi salam said, no, I just wanted to guide you. I just wanted to give a chance to you as well. And if your heart is not with me, I don't need your sword, I don't need your horse. And Imam recited this verse there and he said, وَمَا كُنْتُ مُتَّخِذَ الْمُزِلِّينَ عَضُدًا. I don't take evildoers, I don't take misled people as supporters and as assistants and helpers. So Imam Hussein alayhi salam applied this verse of Quran and this saying of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Karbala. So you see, with few people, with around 70 people, such a great movement in the history of mankind was done, because these people were pure. They were not mudhil, they were not misguided, they were not misled, they were not deviant. They were pure servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even though they were few in number, but they did such a great movement that is a permanent shining star in the history of mankind. We see that after Imam Hussein alayhi salam, also Imam al-Mahdi alayhi salam has such a slogan. Imam al-Mahdi alayhi salam also has such a saying that he also says, وَمَا كُنْتُ مُتَّخِذَ الْمُزِلِّينَ عَضُدًا. Imam Mahdi alayhi salam also, he will use and he will appoint those people who are honest, who are true believers, who are not misguided, in different positions, and at that time these people will be in charge of different parts of the system. These people of dignity, these people of honor, these people of hidayah and guidance, these people who are true believers and they are just inside, these people who have dignity inside, with these qualities, they will be in charge of important things. If you look at our life and our time, you see that we are suffering, our world is suffering, and one of the main elements of the suffering of mankind at this time are the evil people in charge of different things. Look at the scientists, look at the philosophers, look at the thinkers. The world is suffering because of corrupt thinkers, because of corrupt ideologies which is coming by these people. There are so many of such people who have done important and groundbreaking researches and activities in the field of science, and now they are known as the climax and the turning points of science. And these people were not nice people, they were corrupt people, they were misled people, and they misled millions of people after them. The sexual revolution that took place in America in the previous century, in the second half of the previous century, by a misled person by the name Alfred Kinsey. If you look at his life, how corrupt the personal life of this person is, this person decreased human being, as he says, to a level of an animal. When he talks about the human, he says human animal. So with this ideology, with this philosophy, with this anthropology of man, that man is an animal, they went through different tests and then they claimed that there should be absolute freedom of any sexual attempt and behavior, and they were giving the glad tidings of a paradise to human being. But what happened today, we see that the man is living in such a hell, that the families are destroyed, the morality is destroyed, and all those values are gone, and even they themselves, now they are suffering. When you look at their philosophers, look at Bertrand Russell, look at many other philosophers, Nietzsche, look at all these, Wittgenstein, look at Foucault, look at Jean-Paul Sartre, all these people, when you look at their personal lives, you see that their personal life was full of dirt. And what do you expect from such people? Foucault himself, as a great philosopher of the modern time, he was a homosexual, and he said that I will do my best to normalize it. So they had agenda, they had personal agendas to normalize what they used to practice. And they made the whole world to suffer. When you look at the politicians, when you look at the scientists, when you look at the Why all these problems are there? Why all these sufferings are there? Wars are there? It is because of the mean people being in charge of important jobs and positions. At the time that Imam Mahdi alayhi salam will come, all these things will be gone, and good people, honest people, truthful people will be in charge of the things, and they will shed light on different aspects of their life. Those people who are dignitary, those people who are honored inside, those people who do not consider human being as a level of an animal, those people who will see themselves and others in the greatest position of creation as a human being, as the vicegerent of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then, and also seeing others in that level, they will spread all the goodness on the earth. We have the hadith that at that time, hadith says that justice will be spread around the world as the heat and coldness enter the house, enter your house. When you are living at a cold season, it's just enough to open the window, coldness will come. Sometimes even you don't open the window, but coldness comes through the walls, through the windows. When it is the hot season, the heat enters the house. Imam says, like the coldness and heat, justice will enter the houses. Means the foundation of everything will be based on dignity, and when dignitary people will be in charge of things, what will happen in the world is all beauty and justice and the dignity for human being. We see in the history of mankind, there were lots of people who claimed that they want to establish justice. They were justice fighters. They used to suffer from oppression, and they used to fight against oppression, and they sacrificed their lives. They sacrificed whatever they had to fight for justice, to fight to establish justice. But the strange point is that when these people were in charge, when these people gained the position, the power, after a short while, these people themselves, they turned into tyrants, they turned into oppressors. Why it was so? The reason was that these people, they missed something inside, and it was dignity, it was respect. When you are not dignitary inside, you cannot establish justice. This is the very important point. Because man is selfish. We as human beings, we don't like oppression, and in many cases we think that we are against oppressors and oppression. But when it comes to the truth, we see that actually what we are against is not the oppression, it is the oppressors. When somebody oppresses us, we don't like it, we are against it. But the oppression itself, we don't have any problem with that. So we have problem with oppression only when it is practiced against us. But when we practice it against others, we don't see any problem in that. Why? Because we are not of that dignity. If a person is of dignity, a dignitary person, the way that he considers himself of a great position that shouldn't be hurt, shouldn't be damaged, shouldn't be disrespected, the same way he will have such approach towards others and other people. So the central element that can establish justice is dignity. If a person is dignitary, if a person is respectful within himself and in his own eyes, then he cannot mistreat others. He cannot oppress others, because his dignity will not let him to mistreat others. And this is the very important point. So the government of Imam al-Mahdi alayhi salam, the system of Imam al-Mahdi alayhi salam, is based on human dignity. Imam's system is a system that comes to give dignity to human being, to give respect to human being. And those who are doing this, first of all, they are respected themselves. We have the concept of ghayra in Islam, that a person, Allah is ghayur, Allah has ghayra, and a believer should, a faithful person should be ghayur also. So when we come to translate the term ghayur and ghayra, usually they use the term jealousy, while this is not jealousy at all. Jealousy is a negative concept. A jealous person is a mean person, but ghayra is a positive quality. Ghayra means to look at yourself as you look at the way that you look at others. It comes from ghayr, to consider ghayr as yourself. If you like something for yourself, you will like it for others as well. If you do not like something for yourself, you don't like the very thing for others, for the ghayr, then you are ghayur. So you know the limits of you and others, then this is ghayra. So this is different from jealousy. A jealous person, for example, when sometimes it is just limited to, issue of, one's wife and one's, sisters and mothers. Usually they limit it to this concept that a man have a feeling that he doesn't like others to touch or see or have relation with his wife or sister. The hadith says a person who is ghayur never commits adultery. While a jealous person is not like that. A jealous person may feel jealous towards his own wife, but he may do the same sin towards others, towards other people's wives. So ghayra is the positive feeling inside, that the way that you look at yourself, the way that you feel to yourself, you feel for others. And this is ghayra. And this is something unique for the believers. And this is for those who have dignity inside, those who have respect inside. So dignity is the central element for those people who have to establish justice. And the dignity comes when you have the true anthropology and seeing of mankind. And this will not be given to man without having relation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A person who is disconnected from Allah, a person who doesn't see himself in the level of a servant of Allah and the vicegerent of Allah on the earth, will not have the real dignity. Dignity is for the believers. And when a person is true dignitary and honored person as the true servant of Allah, then these people are capable of establishing justice. And at that age of Imam Mahdi alayhi salam, these people will spread such the beautiful fragrance and aroma of justice around the world that all people will be safe, believers or non-believers, Muslim or non-Muslim, all will experience the paradise of justice and dignity on the earth, and that will be the true life. And to do that, Allah says that those who want to establish this, they have to be honest people, truthful people, and those who are not misled, those who are not deviant. And if we want to be among the people who establish and pave the way for the government of Imam al-Mahdi alayhi salam, we have to have these central elements in ourselves, in our kids, and in our lives, inshaAllah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.